Hey there, and welcome to LearnBytes, the show that delivers bite-sized pieces of wisdom so you can learn how to increase your efficiency and productivity, embrace your natural creativity, and lead with impact. I'm Samantha Garrett from Using Technology Better, and joining me on the show today is Christine Malm from Mindful Breakthrough. Christine is a mindfulness facilitator, trainer, and coach who has actually been practicing mindfulness herself for over 20 years. So she's going to join us today to talk about efficiency and productivity. Let's jump in now and start the conversation. Hello, Christine. Thank you for joining me today.
Hello. It's very nice to be here.
I'm super excited. And I was just saying to you, I love that background. For people that are watching the YouTube video, how calming and relaxing is it? So good, so good.
That's the point.
Yes, it works. It works. I'm just going to be so chill through this whole interview. Anyway, so you're here today to talk about efficiency and productivity, which is like my favorite topic. But before we jump into that, do you want to let the audience know a little bit about yourself, what you're passionate about, and your work?
Okay. Well, first of all, my name's Christine Malm, and I run a business called Mindful Breakthrough, my own business. And I've been facilitating, training and coaching in mindfulness for probably the last couple of decades. So I practice it myself daily, and it's not something that is just you 1 minute you've got it and that's it. It can be practiced at any time or all throughout your day in all areas of your life, but it's something that I'm extremely passionate about, and I see the benefits of just teaching people how to breathe and how to meditate and how to pause, and the effects that it can actually have on them throughout their day. So it really changes people's worlds for them and has a bit of a ripple effect. And that's what I love to see happen and create a ripple effect around us. So, yeah, thanks, Sam.
That's so lovely. And it's, I mean, I love the mindfulness stuff. I feel so grateful that I was introduced to it relatively, early compared to, some people really got more into it. I should say that I actually first learned a tiny bit in primary school, which is quite common now, but back when I was in primary school was quite uncommon. But then I picked up more of it in my early 20s, and I'm always so grateful that I am, because it's like having those tools that serve you for your life. So I love that you are sharing and giving others those tools that, as you said, it has that ripple effect for the rest of their life on all the people around them. So it's, thanks for doing that work, because it's so, so important.
Absolutely. And I have previously worked with larger organisations such as, Monash University and the Victoria Police Force I've done some work with. So pretty empowering. It really is, yeah.
And particularly during these times.
Our emergency service people very much need taking care of.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, well, that's so lovely. Thank you for sharing your story, and that puts us in good stead to step in. Are you ready for our speed round?
Oh, I think so.
Oh, good. So let me get this time. All right. 4 minutes. I'm going to push go. Efficiency and productivity. Let's do it. First mobile phone and current phone.
Okay, my first mobile phone was one of those flip phones. And I think you could just send maybe text messages on it. But, yeah, we didn't do much with mobile phones back then. It's very different. And the phone that I have now is an iPhone S12, and I love it.
Another iPhone. What does working efficiently and productively mean to you, Christine?
Okay, so I think my time management, that is one of the biggest things that I have been utilising, is managing my time. And when I put time in my calendar, I create personal time. So that's really important to me, and I know where I'm at. So when I look in my calendar, and I use a lot of color coded.
Yeah.
So it's like when I'm looking at something, I'm right there. I know exactly what I'm doing, and just being very focused on what I'm doing at the particular point in time.
Yeah.
That's huge for me. It's really helped me in so many ways.
Yeah. Awesome. When and where do you work best?
Well, at the moment, like I'm sure a lot of other people are, I'm working from home, and I think the biggest thing for me is creating a nice environment for for myself
Oh,
in
yeah.
the home place. So I often, when I'm working, I will light a candle or just have things tidied up because I find that
Mm,
if I've got too much clutter about, I feel a little bit disorganized. So
yeah.
I tidy things up and make myself, I might do a couple of breathing exercises myself, depending on what it is I'm doing. And then I'm ready to go. Rock and roll, baby. I'm
Yeah.
onto it.
I love it. A candle, a tidy space, and breathing. She's ready to take on the world. That's awesome. What's your favorite app for helping your efficiency or productivity?
I have to say, my favourite app, I've got a couple of them. I love maps because I love being able to get directed to places really well.
Good.
Because my sense of direction can sometimes be all over the place if I'm not got an app. Um, and what was the other one I remembered? Notes is another good one,
Yeah.
being able to take notes. And the calendar again, like just
Yeah.
having that calendar on your phone and, the alert reminders. I
Yeah.
love them
Yeah.
that just
Yeah.
pop up and say, "Oh, you've got a meeting in 10 minutes," or something like that, just to remind me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're great.
You're not the first person to say calendar. That's fascinating. You are the first person to say maps, but anyway, I love it. A minute 20. We got about a minute 15. Biggest efficiency or productivity challenge?
I would have to say, I thought about this, and I would have to say managing other people,
Ooh, okay.
because sometimes other people have not always got their act together, and for whatever reason, and I'm certainly not criticising anybody, but sometimes when we have got time, we've set aside time for ourselves to do something or be somewhere at a certain time, and another
Yeah.
person that might not take that quite so seriously. And one thing I've learned is to really set boundaries for myself
Yeah.
so that people know where I'm coming from, and also just communicate really well with people. Like,
Yeah.
really be specific and clear with what you're wanting from them, and then ask them, do you understand? Is there anything you'd like me to
Mm,
confirm with you? And are
yeah.
you okay with that? If you're not okay, that's fine. But
Yeah.
let's sort it out now so that we're not creating any angst or any drama or anything later on.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing, and that's something I've really had to work on over different times.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Sorry
I
to
think
be
we'll
with
come back to that because I've got, yeah, that's super interesting. We got two questions. Ooh, we got three left. I'm
be
going to pick
quick.
one. I'm going to pick one
Okay.
because the time has gone off. Actually, you can pick. Do you want to tell me what the number one thing is you've done that's had the biggest impact on your efficiency and productivity? Or do you want to make a recommendation of a book, video, or podcast? You are welcome to do either.
I think the recommendation, I love a book by the name of The Extraordinary Mind from Vishen
Ooh.
Lakhiani,
Oh,
of Mind Valley, because Mind Valley do amazing things for education and for
yeah.
people. And I also think a good movie, or well, not really a movie, it's a documentary called The Connection by Shannon Harvey, because she had an autoimmune disease and
Yeah.
was very much working with gurus in universities to learn about mindfulness and how mindfulness, practicing it daily and doing
Yeah.
mindful meditation, has really helped her with her autoimmune disease.
Oh, that sounds like a lovely one for people to check out. Yeah, thank you so much.
Great,
I'll
great
link both of them.
documentary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, we got through the questions. There you go. It doesn't matter that we didn't do them all. Not everyone does. And so that's so wonderful. Thank you. A word that you said really sparked in my mind. And this is how I kind of choose what we chat about at the end. Like something just goes when you say it. And when you were talking about the biggest challenge about managing other people, and this is something I consistently hear with the people I work with. They're like, I've got my shit together, but what about if that person doesn't? Like, how do I deal with that? And I loved that you identified things, it sounded to me anyway, that you're identifying things you can do that you are in control of that then influences that. So you mentioned the boundaries, and that was a word that really stood out. And then you mentioned the communication. But I would love to know more about how you set these boundaries and what they look like if you would be open to sharing that.
Okay, so with boundary setting, it's quite another topic. You could run a whole
I know.
day workshop on setting boundaries, like really. And that's also, I guess, in a nutshell, for people to know what is okay and what is not okay. So, what are you accepting from someone else and what are you not accepting? Sometimes we can be treated badly by another person and we get upset by it or say something to someone else. But when we are able to sit there and have a conversation with someone about it to let them know, because often the other person doesn't know how you feel.
Good point.
So,
Yeah.
in other words, I guess if you want more respect given to you, treat people with more respect. We have to
Yeah.
kind of do the thing that we want. Um, if you
Yeah.
want trust from someone, be more trusting. If
Yeah.
you want love from someone, be more loving. That's how I sort of
Yeah.
see it. But
Yeah.
also, setting boundaries sometimes can be uncomfortable for people because it means that you
Yeah.
might have to have an uncomfortable conversation with
Mm.
somebody. And
Yeah.
sometimes we just let those things sweep under the carpet or not actually approach them because we might be a little bit too scared of, for whatever reason, or that not
Yeah.
person's going to like me if I do that, or if they're
Yeah.
so used to me saying yes to everything, and then if I all of a sudden say no, they might get upset with me. This is a big
Yeah.
one. So it's okay to say no, because sometimes we can run ourselves ragged because we want to maybe do something, but we can't fit all the other things in. So it's really
Yeah.
important to sort of sit there and say, okay, I've got three things that I'd like to do today, but if I do all three, I'm going to be rushing around like a maniac and I'm not going to do them productively.
Yeah.
So if I just choose two and then say to the other one, okay, is it okay if we change a date or do,
Yeah.
whatever it might be,
Yeah.
but being able to deliver your boundary setting in a kind, caring, and loving way, that is the secret.
I
Because
love it.
then you've done the best thing you know how for yourself and for the other person. And then it's up to the other person how they receive it.
That is a nugget of wisdom right there. I'm going to capture that. That is beautiful. I loved it. That
Thank
idea of
you.
setting them in, kind, caring, and loving way, and then you've done the best, and then it's up to them how to receive it. That's so brilliant.
And
And
I think one of the beautiful things that helps me to remember this, because we're all a human, we all
yeah,
still sometimes get affected by what other people do and say, but stopping and taking the pause is a great thing to do before
yes,
you react. But also a little saying that always pops into my head is, say what you mean what you say,
yeah.
and don't say it mean.
Oh,
I
that's
love that.
good.
It's a great little
Yes,
thing, isn't it? So
yes,
be honoured to say what you're really
yeah,
meaning, and mean what you say. Come from the heart when you're
yeah.
saying it, and don't say it mean.
That's so simple. And I'd heard the
I
first two, but
know.
that third one on the end makes all the difference. That's
Yes, it does,
wonderful.
doesn't
It
it?
does. It does. And when you were just saying there about taking the pause, something that popped in my mind then was um, that's a big part, certainly my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's certainly a big part of why we do mindfulness training is that we are training ourselves to be able to be mindful of what's happening and take that pause. Is that something how you see it, or am I wrong?
Absolutely, absolutely. No, you're not wrong. And look, really, mindfulness, because it's been around for a long time, and I suppose everybody thinks a little bit differently about it, because some people say to me, oh, I've practiced my mindfulness for 10 minutes this morning. And I'm like, right. Well, mindfulness is something that you can practice 24/7. It's
Yes.
just really about paying attention
Yes.
in your awareness to what you're actually doing right now and who you're being when you're doing it. Because
Ooh,
often we go around on, as you've heard the saying, on autopilot, and we all
yeah.
do it. How often do we think about our heart beating and how many breaths, our
Yeah.
breathing, do we focus on our bodies? So mindfulness for me too is very much about listening to the body a lot
Yes.
more often,
Yeah.
y- you know, doing what your body's asking for so that it helps connect you as a one,
Yeah.
mind, body, and soul. Like bringing the balance back in, because I'm sure, and I love to say this, one of the things I've always used when I talk about mental health and well-being is I talk about the word balance,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I feel that every person on the planet at some stage in their life is unbalanced somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we can get our balance back, we feel a lot better. Like there
Yeah.
are times when you just don't have your yin and your yang going,
Yeah.
or your
Yeah.
masculine and your feminine. You know, there are some people out there that are got their guard up, so they, you know, they
Yeah.
might react to something because they're afraid of something. And most people, when they do react, they're scared. They're just
Yeah.
scared about something.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that going on at the moment, you know, with vaccinations, COVID. People are scared and they
Yes.
react in ways that they wouldn't normally react
Yeah.
when they're not scared. So fear can bring out a lot of things for people. And when we take the pause again
Yeah.
and say, how important is this right now? Do I
Yeah.
need to be reacting to this? Do I need to be jumping into this and judging that person because they haven't got vaccinated yet or for whatever reason?
Yeah.
Um, there's so many different things, but it's really, really important to learn about understanding yourself and your own triggers and your own
Yeah.
emotions, allowing yourself to connect with your emotions and feel them, feel them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're working through them. You're not trying to push them away or,
Yeah.
you know, do the
Avoid them.
fight or flight. Yeah,
Yeah.
fight. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just thank you, because that is such a valuable message, particularly at this time, as you said. And I'd like to just recap something you said that just stuck with me. And I want to leave on that note. Before you share where people can find you, you said it's awareness about what you are doing, but also who you are being. That is so powerful, Christine, because I think a lot of the time I've never heard that. I hear a lot about mindfulness and mindfulness of what you were doing in that moment, but who you are being. And with that idea of what you said about the fear and that we react from that place, it is that question of like, who am I being right now when I'm going to react like that? And is that who I want to be? So thank you. That is just golden. And I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank
So
you.
where can people find more about you and Mindful Breakthrough and the amazing programs that you run?
Well, they can. I have a website, and it's called Mindful Breakthrough. It's all one word.
Yep.
So mindfulbreakthrough.com. And I also am on social media, as in Facebook. I have a business Facebook page and a
Yep.
personal Facebook page. So those kinds of things you can access me. And I do run a few workshops with other colleagues, and we
Yep.
usually promote those on those avenues of social media. So they're all things I'm still learning about too, because technology changes so quickly. But
It
can I
does.
just share one little thing that I wanted to
Please.
say?
Yeah.
And that's for parents that are out there having a lot of struggles homeschooling their children and everything.
Yeah.
And I so get that, because I can imagine the challenges of that. And one of the reasons why I like to say, if we can take the pause and start with ourselves first to fill up our own cup, we can then better be there for others. So
Yeah.
if you have a parent that is really stressing out and focusing on all of the things that are going wrong, that will just create more of that. It's our
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
But when a parent is calmer and looking after themselves well, they're more likely to cope with children better, in a sense. So that, because if a parent's panicking, the children are going to
Yeah.
panic because they're seeing that their parents not maybe coping so well. And this is a
Yeah.
big thing. And I'm not saying by any stretch of the means for criticising parents or anything in that way, because it's pretty tough being a parent sometimes,
Yeah.
because you have to have so many hats on, you know, a teacher, a carer,
Yeah.
all of those things. But it's also an amazingly rewarding thing to have. So when we come from that space of gratitude changes everything that we're looking at and feeling. So huge. Yeah. Thank you for letting me share that.
Oh, you're welcome. And it just reminded me back to what you were saying right at the beginning about creating ripples. And I always think that everything we do creates a ripple, and it depends on whether that ripple is a positive and energizing ripple or a ripple that's going to be perhaps more negative and damaging. So that's who we are and how we choose to face things and look after ourselves will then have those appropriate ripples down the track. So
absolutely. So when we're finding ourselves overthinking and too much in our head, take the pause, drop into your heart, and everything changes very quickly for you. It can.
Yeah. Beautiful. What a lovely way to think. Thank you so much, Christine. I'm very grateful for your time and the lovely conversation. And I feel so relaxed looking at your background and hearing your beautiful, soothing voice as well. So thank you. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Hello again. Thanks so much for joining me for this lovely conversation with Christine. I just had such a great time talking to her, and the messages that Christine shared are so important for this time we are all going through together. And I really love the idea that mindfulness can give us these tools that we can then use to create ripples. We create them in our own lives and then in the lives of others. So I really hope that this interview has inspired you to check out Christine's work and maybe grab some of those tools for yourself. So before we wrap up today, if you're watching this episode on YouTube and you have not already done so, good time to click subscribe on the Using Technology Better YouTube channel. Or if you are listening to the podcast version, pick up your phone, grab the app and click follow on the show so you are notified when new episodes are released. And if you're not already getting a little newsletter from me every fortnight, I'd love to share that with you. So there's a link below so you can subscribe to that too and get all my favorite efficiency, productivity, and organization tips. So that's it from me for today, but I will see you again soon for another bite-sized piece of the learning adventure that is life. See you then.